Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. So in this video we are going to go through the Shadow Dragon Saga Extreme Super Battle Road. In this team we have the SS4 Gogeta as a friend lead with 2 dupes. We have the LR SS4s, the Gogeta and the Vegeta. Vegeta has 2 dupes in them, whereas Goku only has his free dupe, 55%. Then we have the Nova Shenron with 2 dupes and also Unawakened because I forgot to reverse him after adding a dupe into him off the last banner. So we do this entire run with a Unawakened Shenron. You will see me realize it about midway into the second fight when I realize that Nova Shenron is not sealing any attacks. So yeah. Very interesting technique there by me, but hey, it is what it is. And then to round things off, we have Oceania Shenron and we have Omega Shenron. So a very solid team. We're using Omega Shenron as our lead, obviously. I didn't manage to get Gogeta, which means I only have Omega Shenron. I would have preferred Gogeta because obviously having Gogeta would have made things a little bit easier. But hey, it was a pretty clean run even with the Unawakened Nova Shenron. There was actually not too much that went wrong here. The SS4s, the LR SS4s do dish out a substantial amount of damage, which obviously helps out. Their active skills also are very crucial to this run, at least the success of this run. I think if you had double int Gogetas and a Awakened Nova Shenron, you would probably only need one of the LRs, maybe not even. So I think there is definitely room for this team to improve. Also, if you have Int Gogeta, you can also run Omega Shenron Strength, who is a bit better than the physical counterpart, just does more damage, buffs the rotation, debuffs the enemy. So I think overall there is definitely a lot of room in this team to improve. Especially with Awakening Nova Shenron, a second Gogeta, and obviously the Omega Shenron being the first points that come to mind. But this team otherwise is really solid. Obviously we have the Oceania Shenron, who's got some really crazy passive going on. Obviously she does stun and seal. She seals people and then she stuns them while they're sealed. She does additional attacks when they're in attack down or defense down. She also does buff herself. She gives herself a 1-turn buff to defense. And she shares Cold Judgment with Nova Shenron, which makes them a really good pairing. Then we have Omega Shenron, who debuffs the enemy rotation. Beyond that, he's quite squishy, but him and Gogeta in the same turn actually provide quite an extensive debuff to the opposition, totaling about, over 40%. So it's really solid, a debuff to apply to your enemies. The only problem is in this team build we're not going to have them on the same rotation the whole time. Even if they were both on the same rotation, I still think they would lack quite severely in terms of defense, even with the double debuff rotation. Plus Omega Shenron's damage is good but not the greatest, so there is definitely room to improve. We are going to keep the Gogeta on rotation. We're just going to kind of work around him, sharing him between each SS4. If we had a second Gogeta, we would just pair up an SS4 with each Gogeta basically. But we're just going to kind of float around, switch whichever SS4 does not have a massive type disadvantage into the team. As you can see, we took a lot of damage there on Goku, but that's okay. We needed to take the damage, trying to avoid using an item here so that we can kind of take the turn and just improve from there and save some items. So because we are planning on healing up anyway, I'm just going to take the damage and then heal it back up rather than heal now and then lose the health we've gained through taking damage anyway. It is risky, of course, because we could catch a super attack at any time, but with these kind of team builds, obviously the SS4s do counter super attacks. They have a chance at countering super attacks, and Gogeta has the chance to counter super attacks as well, which obviously makes him Well, that rotation there, not the most dangerous to leave in front of enemies. Just the normal attacks will hit quite hard. So yeah, we have the Nova Shenron linked up with the Oceania Shenron. And this would be a super powerful rotation if Nova Shenron was awakened, which he is not. So yeah, that's my bad. It's still a decent rotation. Obviously got us through interesting screen freeze there, but lovely shot of the SA. It got us through the ESBR anyway. But yeah, was an interesting thing to find out halfway through that you've almost finished with the unawakened Nova Shenron. I did think about restarting and not showing people my folly, but I thought let me leave it in. It'll be good to see, one, that I make mistakes, because obviously I am infallible and never make mistakes. But two, also just to see, yeah, that you can actually sometimes do it with unawakened units. Not the whole team, but sometimes. One thing that I will say from what I've seen, barring, obviously, bear in mind, I haven't run a team with 2 Gojitas, which I think does increase the team's effectiveness quite substantially. At this point in time, I do believe that Oceania Shenron is probably the best other Shadow Dragons category card to take on this stage. Her ceiling, her stunning, her constant multiple attacks, her solid defensive base really just improves this team a lot, especially if you don't have a second Gogeta, or even if you do, if you don't have one of the SS4s. Maybe you're missing one of the LR SS4s, maybe you don't even have any of them, maybe you're running, you know, like an AGL SS4 or a Strength SS4. Oceania Shenron is a absolute beast of a unit, whether she's linked with Omega Shenron or physical Nova Shenron. She is just a absolute unit. She does so many multiple attacks, she seals, she stuns, she's just a great form of mitigation overall. And I actually really, I mean, I was impressed with her obviously in the Shadow Dragons SBR, but seeing her really do so well in the ESBR was very impressive. Obviously, this ESBR is quite challenging because the category is small, so you're going to have some problems if you're building a team. It is just one of those things that can be quite difficult to build a team for Shadow Dragons. It's only got 2 leads. The category itself isn't that large, but that being said, it's still a pretty solid round. I don't think it was as beefed up difficulty wise as, say, some of the other stages like Hybrid Saiyans or Realm of the Gods, which obviously got beefed up to accommodate the extra beefy characters that they hold. Shadow Dragon Saga is one of those weird ones where the team actually has super beefy characters, yet for some reason they didn't tune the stage so much. Obviously Gogeta came out afterwards, but the stage in general was clearly not designed for, I mean, even the SS4s, who are the 4th anniversary cards, you know, they're good, they're still very good cards, but I mean, for them to perform so well in the ESBR was quite surprising. But still very good. A nice stage, a good run. This team did really well, even with the unawakened Nova. We didn't have too many problems. Overall, quite a fun stage. But I think, yeah, definitely was not tuned, at least very obviously, for the power of SS4 Gogeta, who decimates the stage completely, offensively and defensively. But yeah, still quite fun. I think my team, obviously not the most optimized, but my team did very well. I do think people without both LRs will struggle. I think with one LR, you're probably more than fine. You know, especially if you can find maybe 100% friend lead SS4 Gogeta, or maybe you have your own, you will definitely be more than fine with one LR. Alternatively, if you have, you know, either the AGL one or the Strength SS4s, they're also getting their EZAs shortly on Global, and JP, so I think you will be fine after their EZAs. And even now, with a 100% attack and defense, I think you will be more than fine running both of their teams. So yeah. And here you will see the moment I realized that he is not reversed. So there we go. Very thrilling discovery there by myself. Very, very thrilling. So yeah, that was my mistake, but it hasn't impacted our performance. Obviously, we'll be going a lot faster and have a lot more control with Nova Shenron being awakened. We would have his ability to seal, his buff for the rotation would increase, his own stats would increase, he would link a bit better with Oceanus Shenron, his damage would also increase quite substantially. So yeah, we did shoot ourselves in the foot, and I did contemplate resetting, but I thought I could definitely finish it, so here we are, continuing anyway. So yeah, this second fight can be a tad difficult. You really are going to want to focus on the strength Shadow Dragon here. The main reason being obviously is Omega Shenron and Nova Shenron do tend to take quite a bit of damage, and we don't have a lot of mitigation for that. We don't want to keep spamming items to keep Omega Shenron safe, so we do have to be a little bit careful about what's going on there. So as you can see, we've got the active skills. We are going to use them to try and eliminate the strength unit. That's going to be our best point of call, because eliminating the strength unit, obviously, like I said, will allow Omega Shenron and Nova Shenron a bit of breathing space and give us type advantage against the Int Ice Shenron there. Obviously, Int is not really a typing that has a lot of effect against us. We don't have many tech units, so leaving it there isn't the biggest problem. To have this unit still sitting on the table, and we should be able to whittle them down with relative ease. So yeah, we'll switch Vegeta in just because I have more dupes than Vegeta. His defense will be higher as long as we can ultra attack, but we should be more than fine here. We will get the Dokkan attack, unfortunately, with SS4 Gogeta, but that is okay, because I do want to get the heal after this stage, because we are going to be a little bit low. So yeah, definitely more than fine. But at this point, we're going smoothly. I don't want to say it's the best run, but we are definitely going at a good pace. A little bit slow, but that's mainly because we nerfed Nova Shenron's damage by quite a substantial amount, and in the process nerfed both the Oceanus Shenron and whichever other unit was on rotation with Nova. So yeah, really poor decision there, but yeah, we are going to take, I thought we were dead here, but we are going to take super attack. Fortunately, obviously, when they get their 18 key, the LRSS4s do double their defense, so they become very solid defensively when they get that kicked in. And then we are going to have the Oceanus Shenron hopefully finish everything off, and then we should be more than fine. Heading into the final stage here, we do have a couple items, so I don't foresee us having too many problems. But yeah, these units in this stage definitely do not hit as hard as the other units out of the other ESBRs. So just keep that in mind when you are running this stage, that the numbers they're going to hit on you are not going to be exactly the same. But yeah, we're here in the final fight. So we've got an AGL and a strength. Ideally, we're going to go for the strength unit, obviously, because the strength unit's going to have the biggest advantage over us, seeing as the strength unit essentially has advantage against Omega and Nova Shenron. The AGL, although he does have advantage against Vegeta, because Vegeta will have double his defense after supering, because we should be able to seal him up, and because even if he does super, we do have a chance at countering, we're not so concerned with leaving Vegeta there. And then we'll just kind of see how it goes. But yeah, no, it's definitely should be more than fine as long as we take out this strength Nova Shenron as quickly as possible. We should be able to clean up the stage and claim the win. But yeah, beyond that, the fight's not too bad. The main thing that you want to keep in mind is if you are using a unit like Tech Gogeta, Tech Gogeta really is more suited to that floater role. His defense is not bad after he supers, especially if you have multiple dupes in him, but he can be lacking, especially when it comes to defense in general. But here we actually see highlighted one of his main skills is that ability to counter, a very critical ability to making him a defensively viable unit. And overall, his offense is actually really quite good. A unit like him that's not rainbowed, not link leveled, hitting 2 million, 2.1 million is very, very, very solid. He unfortunately was just before they made all Gogetas really have that super effective against all types ability, which would have really helped him out. But beyond that, yeah, he's really great. When they give him an easy A, it's going to be super interesting to see how good he is as a card. Because his kit makeup actually is pretty nice. If they add super effective against all types in there, and just maybe give him either base defense or maybe just give him massively raises defense, very similar to the LR SS4s. Even with just LR easy A stats, he's going to be great because his debuff is really good against enemy teams. So yeah, he could really be a super solid card. Already is a super solid card. He could be a even greater card afterwards. So yeah, we're just working on the strength Nova here. Yeah, we're gonna pop some items, heal up just a tiny bit, but basically we're just gonna implement some big defense here because we are concerned that if we don't kill the strength Nova, he is gonna get a couple attacks out on the Omega Shenron. And if he does manage to super him, he will take quite a substantial amount of damage. But we got quite a few dodges there. Pretty good. Gogeta showing off his full kit here. Very impressive. All these new DFEs that you will see in these videos are all very impressive. I mean, from Gogeta down to Mystic Gohan to Int Broly. The list goes on and on. They were all very, very impressive cards overall. So yeah, very, very happy with the run. Obviously we took a super attack there that we didn't really want to take against Vegeta, but it didn't do too much damage because we have double items activated. And then we're going to have the Omega Shenron still not finish off the Strength Shenron. I mean Strength Nova. So yeah, he's going to stick around another turn, which generally would usually be quite problematic. But we are fortunate in that the Oceania Shenron is tanky enough to absorb that damage. We've also got the debuff from Gogeta sitting here, and we still have the items active from last turn. So as you can see, one problem this team is currently having is that its offense is a little bit low. Obviously Awakening our Nova Shenron would solve that problem a little bit. The reason why we're also sealing the Omega Shenron is mainly just because we want to mitigate his damage, keep him out the way, and just kind of finish off the Nova Shenron, and then basically tackle the next turn, being able to fully focus on the Omega Shenron. So now that we have removed Nova, we can move on to just focusing all our effort onto the Omega Shenron. Gogeta will do a nice chunk of damage. The tech Gogeta has done very well considering the age of the unit. He's done an actually remarkable job in his performance. So here we're just going to see. I wanted to activate the Android 8, but we're just going to use the active skills, I believe, and then we're going to move on to the next turn and keep the active skill of SS4 Gogeta, just in case things get a little bit dicey later on. But yeah, he is sealed, so we're not too concerned about super attacks. So with the added defense from the Android 8, we should be more than fine to take this turn. Gogeta won't be harmed defensively. Goku and Vegeta should get their attacks off, doubling their defense, so we should be more than fine, as you can see here. So we're just going to use our last Android 8, heal up, provide the 50% damage buff, defense buff, which should help us see out the turn. Omega can't super attack Then next turn we will have the Oceanus with the Nova with the Omega, and they will be able to seal him up again, and then we'll keep Gogeta's active skill for the turn after, just in case we get there, just in case we have a couple problems. But yeah, overall it's been a pretty solid run. Nothing too bad. It is gone a tiny bit slower than we'd expect. Maybe would have liked to get a bit more damage out, but that's more through my own fault than anything else. But yeah, super chuffed with this run. Was a good stage, nice clean win as well, and yeah, really happy with how the team performed, and yeah, just overall with the ESBR. But that's gonna be it for me. Let me know how you guys have gone with these stages. If you have any problems with the Extreme SBR, if you're having any problems with the Shadow Dragons ESBR yourself specifically. If you are, mention it down below in the comments, and let's see if we can build a team with you together. But alright, thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. But until then, bye!